Hello everyone, here's your weather hazard briefing for Sunday, June 12th. We've got some heavy rain coming our way today, and a few of us may see some strong to even severe thunderstorms across the region. That heavy rainfall is still possible over the central mountains and over in the Sawtooth, areas around Stanley, the White Clouds, the Boulders, the Wood River Valley, those areas. We're going to have to worry about some debris flows and some slides and even an increase in the river and stream flooding in those areas. Heavy rain still up across the Island Park area and especially in the mountains. Also a swath of heavier rain likely across the lava beds up through the Arco Desert on up towards north of Idaho Falls in the upper plain. Breezy tomorrow and Tuesday. It'll be a bit breezy tomorrow. It's going to be very breezy area-wide tomorrow and Tuesday. Still looking for dry conditions in the middle of the week. We might see southerly flow and a summertime pattern developing with some maybe even some monsoon moisture coming in here by the weekend. Satellite this morning shows the clouds increasing from the south and west. That's moisture ahead of our low that is going to start kicking off more showers and thunderstorms across our region today. And like we said, some of these areas looking at some decent rainfall. We've highlighted the Snake Plain and the Magic Valley today because of that threat of heavier rainfall across the northern areas of the plain and the Magic Valley. Still looking at showers and thunderstorms. We're still highlighting, again, the heavy rain for the eastern highlands up towards Chalice and Mackay, although those amounts have trended down a bit. Also up into Limhi County. The Wood River Valley area, the Sawtooth area, the river flooding and debris flows that are possible, we've upped those areas to a moderate risk for impacts from the flooding for today. Going into Monday, windy across the Snake Plain and the Magic Valley, breezy pretty much elsewhere. Still looking at some heavier rain along the Montana border in the eastern highlands, also up around portions of the central mountains. The reason we've highlighted up around Mackay and Chalice, it does look like the big loss around the Howell Ranch, that gauge there is likely going to push into minor flood stage by the time we get into tomorrow. Also looking at still continued flooding on the Big Wood across around the Haley area as well. And that trend continues into Tuesday, although we start to dry out a little bit across the area. On Wednesday, not much going on. Still some lingering flooding around the Wood River Valley. Thursday, basically a nice day. If you're not looking for anything impact-wise, that's what we're looking at by the time we get to that particular day of the week. So looking at how showers and storms will progress, we do have some light showers already developing across the eastern highlands and a few popping up over the central mountains this morning. This trend will continue as we go through the rest of the morning. You can see the heavier precipitation developing over the central mountains first, trying to pick up along and east and I-15 in the eastern highlands. And this band is pretty persistent for the first part of the day over the central mountains, on up towards Lone Pine, up towards Monida Pass and the Island Park area, and that trend just continues through the rest of the afternoon. We start to see some shift to the south and to the east later on the afternoon, and again, that area from around Cary, Shoshone, up through Arco, the INL up to Island Park, that's where we're going to see the heavier rainfall in the lower elevations. By the time we get into this afternoon, this evening, decent area of showers and thunderstorms basically setting up along and east on I-15. Showers and thunderstorms still continuing in the central mountains, but starting to thin out. That's that dry slot working in later on this evening. And you'll see in a couple of rounds of showers and thunderstorms in the central mountains later on this evening and overnight. But you can see a pretty decent area still setting up over the eastern highlands, Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Rexburg, and that trend continues into tomorrow morning. Maybe a little bit of a let up, but it'll be redeveloping as we go into the day tomorrow. You see the central mountains thinning out early in the morning. There's that every area of showers and thunderstorms continuing across the Montana Divide, and that only increases again tomorrow afternoon as we go through the heating of the day. It will be cooler. There will be enough instability to create that area of showers and thunderstorms, and more pop-up showers and a few thunderstorms over the central mountains, and maybe a couple across the south hills down into the southeastern highlands during the afternoon hours. But you don't see much in the Snake Plain because of that dry slot that's coming into that area. So, looking at temperatures for today, we are cooler, not as cool as we're going to be tomorrow. We're still looking at a few 80s once you get south of the Snake Plain down towards Preston, Malad, Holbrook, also City of Rocks, that direction as well. Here are those winds this afternoon. Some gusts hitting near 50 across or Monday afternoon, excuse me. We'll skip to the winds for tomorrow afternoon. And you can see some gusts around the INL hitting 50 miles per hour. There is even a potential when we get to sustained winds closer to 35, 40, and gusts above 55 miles an hour. That's where we hit high wind versus wind advisory thresholds. There is still a possibility we may be too light on the winds tomorrow in those areas tomorrow afternoon, but certainly breezy over a good chunk of the area, and those winds continuing tomorrow evening before they start to wind down a little bit Monday night into Tuesday morning. And there are those highs tomorrow. Some of us not getting out of the 50s, it looks like. So we're going to back around 10 to 15 degrees below average with this storm coming through for tomorrow. Looking at Tuesday, there are those winds again, a little more widespread over the entire region. Still some gusts 40 to 50 across the Arco Desert, the Magic Valley, into portions of the eastern highlands going into Tuesday afternoon and evening. And those temperatures on Tuesday, we're going to be within a degree or two. We're not going to change the temperatures too much going into Tuesday as we're still under the influence of that low-pressure system moving across the area. But into Wednesday and into Thursday, by Thursday, we're going to be pushing 80s to some folks back to around 90 degrees in the afternoon. So we're into that pattern where it's still cool for a couple of days, but really warms back up. We go the complete opposite direction right after we get these storm systems to move on through. So rainfalls for today and tonight, you'll see once you get down towards the 86 corridor, down into the southeast highlands, there's not a lot of rainfall expected as that drier air works in. The pattern with the storms keeping everything basically, if you drew a line from right, say around Shoshone up over to around Driggs, Palisades, that area north of there, a pretty good chance of rainfall. And again, the heavier rainfall, the Central Mountains, portions of the Arco Desert on into the Island Park area. Once you get up towards Salmon and Chalice, those areas, the precip starts to wind down as that heavier band kind of gets concentrated farther to the south and to the east. And we've been talking about the past a few days here, the potential, looking at some of these probability forecasts. We give you the most likely scenario. Some of these probability forecasts gives you an idea of what a scenario B or C might be. And we're still looking at the potential up around the Sawtell Peak area, the Montana Divide, over an inch, and that's definitely what we have in the forecast up in those areas. We're talking about percentages in some places up around a 50-50 chance. A pretty good chance over an inch, especially around the Sawtooth, Stanley area, some of the higher elevations there as well. If we look at the potential of 2 inches, we don't have 2 inches in the official forecast, but it's very possible. It's about 0 to 5% up around Island Park. Some folks say that's not zero, but it's definitely not likely. But, around the Sawtooth, there's about a 15 to 20% chance things line out just right. We may get some heavier precipitation falling in the Sawtooth and surrounding areas for later on this afternoon and tonight. But it does look like the heavier precipitation will be just to the south and to the east of there. So back to what we're looking at for rainfall tomorrow. You'll see not much across the board, maybe over a quarter of an inch in the Bear River range tomorrow, but the heaviest precipitation will be along the Montana Divide into southwestern Montana. Some of these folks seeing over a half an inch of rain, especially once you get up towards Spencer, Monida Pass, in the mountains along the border there as well. So once again, showers and thunderstorms continue to increase through today. We've got heavy rainfall, especially the Central Mountains, the eastern highlands, the lava beds around Shoshone up through the Arco Desert to north of Idaho Falls. And a few storms could be strong to severe today. We didn't really touch on that too much. That's not the biggest threat or impact today. But some of those storms could produce a little bit of small hail and gusty wind. Otherwise, winds pick up again tomorrow and Tuesday, especially across the Snake Plain and Magic Valley. The middle and most of the end of this week, back to warm and dry. Have a great day out there and do stay safe, everyone.